How do you demonstrate decisive and strong leadership in a time where chances are everybody else in the company, they know more than you do? Welcome back. I'm Frederick. The technological change in today's environment is just happening at hyper speeds. Everything is changing so fast all over the world. There are so many moving parts in what we call an organization and the environment to our organization. So how do we keep track of everything that's going on in the organization? How do we guide the company towards its targets when we know for a fact we can't know everything? Let me give you some ideas to how you can run your company in the best possible way. I do not believe that you as a leader is supposed to know everything into details. Of course, you have to have a general idea of what's going on in each and every unit of your company. You are not expected to know the details of each and everyone's job. This only becomes even more evident now where the jobs are changing, becoming more and more complex, and the technological development is at such a pace where it's difficult for even the professionals to keep up. But you still need to run the company. I would say as a leader, one of the first things you should start doing is regard everything in the company as projects and run it as such. Even business as usual, even the monthly sales, even the operations, start running them as time-limited projects. Because if you do that, you will have a much stronger focus on what's going on. You will start focusing on what are the dependencies, what are the risks, and how are the mitigations to avoid those risks. This is important because around us, everything is changing. Even our business as usual is not business as usual tomorrow. And when you start running your daily operations like projects, time-based projects, you will have a completely new and strong focus on what's going on. And this will help you keep focus on the most important things in running the business. In order for people to know exactly what you expect from them, it is important that you are capable of defining a clear vision, a clear set of values. What is it that we believe in the company? What are the values we're working towards? What are the difference that this company wants to make in the world? And how do we, as people and as teams and as a group and a company, make sure that we can actually achieve those visions? When people, they have this understanding of values, the reason for the company's existence, then it's easier for them to help you reach the targets that's set for the company. So when you set a guiding North Star, when you say, this is the aim we have for the next 2 years, this is where we want to be, then you should let the people in teams or in groups or in units define, okay, how do we as a group or a unit help the organization to reach that target, given the set of values that we have, given the set of directions or guidelines that have been set. This increases the accountability of each and every person in the company, and it allows you to draw on the expertise and the competences that each person have. They will chip in towards defining how do we get here, and this is exactly what you need. You don't need to tell them what to do. You need them to tell you how you can help them so the whole company can reach these targets. And building on this, I would suggest that you create a more or less loose system of processes defining how do we work together between the units, between the departments. Of course, there has to be compliance-related issues that just have to be there. But besides that, set up some loose processes, a modus operandi. This is how we would like to work together. And then allow people to find their own ways of working together within these borders. I know this is very difficult for most people because traditionally people have been used to getting a job description and this is what we expect you to do, this is how you're supposed to do it, just please go and do it. Right now, you are asking people of taking part of designing their own jobs and even allowing that job to change over time. Because when you start working in a more loosely connected system of units and teams, that job you have today may change tomorrow because the task that you have to solve is changing. If you allow people to move around this like this, you will also unleash the brain power of the people. And this is what you need. You need the collective brain mass of the whole company to make sure that you can beat the competition, to make sure that you can actually work together towards the target. Now, all this sounds a little loose, right? We are just setting some targets and we are letting people define their own ways of working in teams and work together. And then we hope things are happening. And of course, I know it's not that simple. At the end of the day, you need to take the overarching targets and cascade down to business unit targets, to team targets, so you have something very specific to measure the team's performance on. Otherwise, you will lose the oversight, the overview of the company. So your trick to running these independent teams, these independent specialists, is to have a very strong performance management system, is to make sure that each target is clearly defined and understood. As I said before, it really helps a lot if you allow your team to set the targets, given the guiding principles, given the guiding targets of the company. But if you allow the people to set the targets, saying, okay, we know we have to be here. In order to be here, we will have to move this way so we can reach the targets. And once this is agreed, you need to set a strong set of performance management criteria so you can day by day, week by week, or month by month get an overview of how are you doing, how are you progressing towards those targets, and act or help if it seems that you're not on the right path. This leads me to another extremely important job that you as manager, top executive have. And this is when you let people loose, so to speak, and let them define their own ways of working. You will typically see that they will meet some roadblocks in terms of large projects, maybe on a longer time scale, or very complex projects. Your job here is to sit down and help them eat that elephant of a project. And you know how to eat an elephant. You cut it up in very, very small bites, and then you start eating bit by bit. And at some point, you have eaten it all. Same with the large, complex projects. It is your job to sit with the team and discuss with them and help them break the project into small bites so they understand, okay, we have to be here at the end of the day, but we also understand that this is the step and we start all the way down here and then slowly we move up towards the final target. This can be a waterfall project plan. This can be an agile project plan. The point here is that you help the team breaking down the bigger chunks into very, very small, maybe even hour by hour, day by day targets. So it's very easy for them to understand and agree to what has to be done now. This is the greatest help you can give. When you define these projects and you break them down to smaller pieces, another extremely important thing is that you identify dependencies. Because it's only when you identify the dependencies of the smaller bits of this project that you are capable of seeing the whole, understanding what's going on in the whole organization and how does these things play together. And I see it as your job to make sure that the dependencies are solved in the time that they have to support the team in getting the things done. In my experience, it is in most cases outside dependencies that stops the projects, that stop the daily operations. And if you are capable of finding and mitigating these dependencies and these risks in due time, then you will have a smooth running project and you will have business teams and units that are meeting the targets that you've set. And then I know I said in the beginning that you don't need to know everything, and I believe that is true, but I also believe that you need to know about what's going on and have a general understanding of it. And when you are breaking down these bigger projects into smaller projects together with your teams, this is a perfect time for you to let them tell you or explain to you what's going on in the individual project streams or project bits. By doing that, you will actually gain the knowledge or enough knowledge for you to help your teams, for you to have a more thorough understanding of what's going on in the projects. Getting that understanding is also one of the things that enables you to set the North Star, to set the targets, to explain to the board of directors the issues that you have, the opportunities you have. This is what enables you to get an idea of what is it that's going on in the world. How can we exploit these opportunities? How can we make it to our benefit? Do not try to lead them in the way that you have to tell them what to do, because they will know more than you do. They are the experts. You are the leader setting the direction, setting the targets, and then you are paving the way. You're moving all the obstacles so that they can do what they do best. That's how I see the future of leadership, paving the way for the experts, understanding enough to setting the North Star, understanding enough to see what's going on in the world, and together with the teams, exploring the opportunities and mitigating the risks and threats that are there. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay safe. Goodbye.